All right. Well, I guess today it's probably going to be no surprise which verse we're going to talk about, but this is a verse that if you're in the youth group or you have a student in the youth group, they're probably going to tell you, man, that's the shirt that Brock wears all the time. But I wear this shirt because I love it. Iron sharpens iron, and that's where we are today. If you've been reading along with us in Proverbs, you know then that we're on chapter 27 of Proverbs. And in chapter 27, it says, "As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend." What this verse is basically telling us is, just as iron, like a piece of iron, can sharpen another piece of iron, but it happens through striking, it happens through friction, it happens with sparks. It's a very animated sort of interaction that's happening there. Think of the iron of a blacksmith's hammer working on a sword, or working on some piece of iron that is going to be forged into something different, right? From this piece or this lump of iron into something that's beautiful or sharp, or whatever the end product is going to be. So a man, just in that same way, sharpens the countenance of his friend. A man can be used to sharpen or improve and develop his friend, but it may happen through a bit of friction and sparks, right? In fact, my best friends, and you may not have this too, or maybe you don't, and maybe this is a challenge for you today, is to build a relationship with someone who can do this with you. Some of my best friends, sometimes they're not always the sweetest friends either, because they challenge me, right? They don't just allow me to sit in the same place. They don't allow me to just go through the motions of A, B, or C. They challenge me, and they make it a priority to do so. If they see me falling or failing in one area, they're going to pull me and they're going to push me to do better. And sometimes that can have a lot of friction. So my challenge for you today is to evaluate those friendships that you have. Do you have people around you, or do you have a friend who's around you who can challenge you in a way that's going to involve some friction? Are they not? Are they going to be someone who's not afraid to create some friction and challenge you in a way that is going to improve your countenance, your demeanor, your characteristics as a person? Are they going to be someone who's going to do that? And if you don't have someone who's going to do that, it's time to start looking for one. Or perhaps you are that friend, and you just need to be someone who's willing to speak out and take on the friction because you love that person. I love this verse that's just before the iron sharpens iron verse. In chapter 27 on verse 5, it says, "Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed." And what that verse is basically saying is, you taking that stance, if you're that friend who needs to give another friend a rebuke, and you're concealing it and you're keeping that rebuke from happening, you are actually loving them less than you would be if you created some friction and actually spoke into their life. Um, that rebuke it's in, and when it's done in the right way. And I'm not saying you just go out and start rebuking people, because there's a relationship here. It's in this verse it's saying rebuke is better than love carefully concealed, right? So there's already a loving relationship that has to be correlated there in order for this sort of thing to work. Otherwise, you're just rebuking for the sake of rebuking, and that's not very loving at all. But you need to have people around you, and you need to be a person also who's willing to get into the difficult stuff, to get into those friction having moments where sparks are flying, and maybe there's a little tension for a little bit, but you're actually helping your friend, or you're surrounding yourself with people who will improve you and are looking out for you for the best and for the better. They're not just riding along with you, or you're just not going along with the ride just because you want to have a friend. because that's not what we're called to do. And frankly, what kind of a life would it be if we just kind of just allowed our friends or our friends allowed us to just do things that would bring us down. We're talking about having open, godly communication and walking together through each other's mutual trials, temptations, difficulties, and challenging each other in it. So that's my challenge for you, and I hope that you will take that and apply that to your life today. We'll see you next time.